Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Bobby Petrino, because not only did he get talked about with Sam Pittman, but also with Taylor Green. We'll do that as part of your Inside Arkansas update presented by Davis and Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. And in part of that, Sam Pittman was asked about Bobby Petrino and what he's brought to the program, essentially. And I think we all kind of understand exactly what Sam Pittman means by his answer.
He was automatic bringing optimism to the program when we hired him, because of the success he had here as a head coach. I love Bobby. He's done a really good job helping me with. I run him, Travis. I run a ton of stuff off of him, and usually it's, I think we should do that. And sometimes it's, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But the thing that Bobby brings to our program is just, and Travis as well. Bobby brings that swag to the program. He brings that belief of our players. They believe in whatever he says that it's going to work, and the schematics of how it's going to work. They believe that he knows all the answers for that. And there's a lot to be said about that when you're coaching kids and they're not questioning how you're coaching them. They're going, if he tells me something and I do it like he says with my athletic ability and my mind, it's going to work. And I think that he has a very unique way with people. And I think, I think Taylor could probably answer it better than me, but that's how I feel the kids see him.
Okay, so bringing in swagger or swag, I guess, is what Sam Pittman talks about. But when he went specifically into I know the player's approach, if I know this guy tells me to do this, I know it's going to work. I know it's going to be successful. I think that's the type of swagger that's brought in. It's not to say that like Kendall Briles was unable to do that, or even Dan Enos, which I know was a disaster then, but like Petrino is a guy who has been calling offenses in college for 20 years now, essentially over 20 years, and has been successful pretty much everywhere he's been offensively. Even though the game of football's changed, even though the offense has changed, he has still found success. He's had players he can point to. He's had a Heisman Trophy winner in Lamar Jackson. Like that's not something Kendall Briles can say. That's not something Dan Enos can really say. And I think that because of Petrino just having that type of mentality where he's very direct, as you were talking about, Curtis, just like, I'm going to tell you how I feel. He's not going to tell you something that he doesn't truly believe. He's going to be like, hey, I do this because this is what works. And that's something I think may have been missing, especially from the offense, especially from the team, where it's just like, hey, I know that we went 4-8 last year. I know you may have been frustrated with stuff, but this is Bobby Petrino, and Bobby Petrino knows. And if you question him, then you're the one that's going to end up having at a disadvantage because of that.
I think that was also something that was missing for Bobby Petrino at Texas A&M last year. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see him without the handcuffs on him, because you could just tell by watching Texas A&M that, we know who was calling the shots there. Yeah. That's just the way it was. So for Bobby to kind of get back into his bag a little bit will be exciting to see. I don't know if I ever really thought about Bobby Petrino as a big swag guy. I thought it was an interesting choice of words. I get it with the players play with confidence because they trust, that he knows what he's doing. For me, it's more of an aura thing that, we hear that word a lot now. It seems like Bobby P's kind of got an aura about him.
Bobby's got goated aura is what Curtis is saying.
That's right. That's right.
And I think if you talk to fans around the country, in the state of Arkansas, that swagger that Bobby brings certainly resonates with them. Because, there's so many people like yesterday when we were talking about whether or not Talon would be top 3 or bottom 3, people were like, Bobby P, of course he's going to be top 3. Like, they just expect greatness and they expect success, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because of Bobby Petrino. You would think that Arkansas was like coming off of the 11-2 season in 2011, the way that people were like, wait, why would we not win 9-10 games? Like, it's just, we're going to, because Bobby Petrino. So I think that speaks to it a little bit. But I think with players, it's not like this is some random old geezer where they're like being told, oh, hey, this guy was good back in the day or whatever. They watch Lamar Jackson on TV. They know who that guy is. They've heard of Mike Vick, who I know Bobby Petrino didn't get to coach, but was hired to coach him. And they see his track record. And so I think there's also his success at Arkansas, his success with specific athletes, and just his success in different schemes at different levels. NFL, college, FBS, FCS. SEC, all over the place. I think he has a little bit of, he checks a lot of boxes to where there's not a single player on the roster who's probably having questions. Like if you're a great running back, he's put running backs in the NFL. He's had a lot of success with them. Receivers, he's obviously done a lot with receivers in the state of Arkansas. Quarterback, I mean, you can go on. And so I think he has enough on his resume that it kind of checks all the boxes that anyone could be looking for.
Yeah, he's able to identify those things. And with like, thinking about to when he was at Louisville and whatnot and the Lamar Jackson thing, I remember it was so crazy because that was almost a knock against him too of, well, he has great college quarterbacks, but they don't translate to the NFL. He had the Brian Brohms and the, and Ryan Mallett, which I know, rest in peace. He played in the NFL for a bit, but like, Tyler Wilson and, he wasn't there for long. And, people just kind of really held that against him until the Lamar Jackson thing happened. And now, Lamar has won an MVP in the NFL. So that was always something that was kind of held against him. But one of the things that I remember, and you talk about the swag and the directness and the confidence and everything, it's so funny because like you said, Curse, you wouldn't think that somebody like Bobby Petrino, you can like describe it as having swag. But I'll never forget when he spoke at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, like when he made his first appearance back in the state of Arkansas after everything happened, he was asked about that play in 2010 against LSU right before halftime with 6 seconds left to Kobe Hamilton that ended up being a huge difference in that game for Arkansas winning it. And he was talking about when just 6 seconds left, Arkansas just got the ball. They're at their own 20. And he called a play with Mallett, was on sidelines. And he said, Ryan looked at him like, are you really, that's what we're running? And he goes, yes, go do it. Just very like, that's yes. And it was almost, and then what like made that so funny is not only did Arkansas end up winning that game and scoring a touchdown there, but there's just things that sometimes, Bobby is in his mind, man. He just like, I see something that he knows. And even though it doesn't make sense, even though it's like, I don't know, maybe you should take a knee here. Like he always just sees things that a lot of people don't. And I think that that's what makes quarterbacks and every quarterback that's ever played for him really respect him too.
Yeah, he's definitely got some Rain Man qualities to him as a play caller, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the vibes I get. It's just he's working in there in his mind, and I don't want to go inside of that and see what's going on because it's probably a lot happening.